Why hello there, this is your good Thomas friend 74. I have now also ordered one of these for myself as well, and as you saw, it is indeed the Plarail 80th Year Railway Series Thomas. Yep, I bought mine as well. And of course it's the one with the small storybook, showcasing the highlights of the Railway series and some of the characters. Now, this will probably only be released only for 1 year, which is this. And they may only have production of this out for a few months. So, if I were y'all, I get this immediately. Get yours while you can, before they start spiking in price, because they're obviously going to. Now, many YouTubers already did a good job of this one, but I just also want to take my crack at this. So there's the Plarail, it's the small storybook, and I love how they use the old drawings of Thomas. You can see there, and that's obviously an illustration from the Railway series of Book 2. Obviously, because Thomas first appeared in the Railway series in the second book. The first book was just Edward, Gordon, and Henry. Here's the top view. It's the 80th year emblem. And that's, I think that's supposed to describe Thomas from the Railway series. More info at the back. And this, of course, has this drawing of Thomas. And we also have the standard instructions, except this is the standard Tommy Thomas that we're familiar with. Some warning info, and this one's ST25, which makes sense because this is 2025. I also see some other. It says A2325. I think it's like January 23, 25. This one is manufactured in. I'm not too sure. Railway Series Thomas and the Plarail model Thomas. Now, I'll go ahead and open this thing up. Well, one thing that Plarail likes to do with these packaging was that when they were sold these in store, a small little tab comes out like that. And it's for meant to hang the products on the pegs, or put that in, and have it sold on the shelves. And that's a far convenient idea than just only having one type of packaging. That's only for one use. Well, this one can do both. Right, now it's time to open this thing up. Okay. Of course, here is the warning info. There you go. And that there is actually the newer type of chassis that they're using, the interchangeable ones. That's some of the Thomas characters, and that's for the normal Plarail trains. Be careful with this one. There's the info. That's the peg that this is attached to. Here it is. A small storybook right here. Now, some of these are actually some edits they have to use from the Railway series for some. This is not the actual story of Thomas from the actual book. It's just a showcase and highlights. You know, it's Japanese. There's one image of Thomas right there. There's another one of Thomas and the coaches. There's Henry. There's also Percy Harold and Edward. Here's Gordon, Diesel, and Mavis. And Psychic Jason actually pointed out this is actually the illustration of her from the Christopher Andre books, not Reverend. There's James, Birdie, and that's another shot of Trevor. I think that's also from the Christopher Andre books. There's Toby, Scarlowe, and Duncan, and they must have added Duncan to make him yellow. But you have to remember that Duncan is painted yellow only in the TV series. In the Railway series, he was red, and that goes with all the narrow gauge engines. They were red in the Railway series. There's Bill and Ben, there's Duck, and there's Thomas. In the first book, and the book Thomas was first released in. And that's it. Now we have the model itself. My first time seeing this. Here are the coaches. And there's Thomas. Alright, now we'll take an in-look appraisal of both of these. First, we start with Thomas himself. Let's look at the face. Well, this is obviously a painted face, as you can see how painted this thing is. It almost looks like it's actually almost a 3D face. It just painted things. Well, I've always made a point to how like painted faces is way easier to make than having a separate mold of a face is far more challenging than it is. It still has that white footplate. Somehow these parts should have been black to match the Railway series. Different stylized sticker with hand drawing perfectly. Even the cap part here with the windows and the whistle is also painted that way. On this side it's also the same. It's very beautiful looking. Nothing on the back. On the bottom here, it's still very beautiful Plarail Thomas-esque look. Ooh, so we have a different stamp here. It says A2025. This was somehow made a year before the box. Not a year. I mean, it was made 3 days before the box was made. You have different type of print codes. And someone actually pointed out that the chassis, the red color of this one is a little bit more darker than the one that on Thomas that we're familiar with. But overall, it is a beautiful, beautiful representation of Thomas from the Railway series. Very nice. Next we have Annie and Clarabelle with their faces. So, again, hand-drawn Annie, mimicking the one from the Railway series, as well as Clarabelle. So glad that player will make sure they have that in style. And look at this beautifulness. A gray stripe at the bottom of these. Different to make them stand out. Clarabelle is the same. I also notice they don't have nameplates. But this is probably how it was in the Railway series. They probably didn't have their names that way. Or maybe they did, but probably not in the first few stories. But it's more likely just a television series thing. But man, just doing this just makes a whole world of difference. To install a battery on these, as per usual, the Thomas, you lift these two out, and there you go. Easy as pie. And that's standard Tommy design, the Thomas that we're familiar with. And it runs perfectly. Look at that. Now I'll run the layout. Alright fellas, here we are. Here's the RWS Series Thomas ready on this layout. So, here we go. This is a very beautiful model from Plarail. They mimic the RWS Series accurately and perfectly. Now, I have also seen that Mattel's also making properly accurately sized Trackmaster Gen 2 products, which look even better than the original Trackmaster Gen 2 that we're familiar with. And these ones have accurate sizing. I say that was something they should have done from the start with Trackmaster Gen 2, even though Trackmaster Gen 2 still has not aged well. But Plarail really did an amazing job accurating the RWS Series with this Plarail Thomas. And there's also a special pack at the same time, which was just a re-release of the Thomas Celebration pack that was released back in 2017 and 2022. It's just another release of that for the 80th year. But this is the most beautiful model I've seen from Plarail. Definitely a fantastic model from the RWS Series even. That's going to be it for my showcase of my take of the 80th year Plarail Thomas. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, whether that comes out.